Hi, so many people feel that pageant girls are all about makeup, gowns, and heels. Really? Think again. When these pageant girls talk, the world listens. Yes, I'm talking about Sushmita Sen, Aishwarya Rai, and Priyanka Chopra. I'll tell you my personal experiences with each of them. So Sushmita and Aishwarya, they were with me in the pageant, which is a Miss India, Femina Miss India 1994. I was a young girl from Punjab. I didn't even know any English that time, and it was pretty challenging for me, but I loved being there. I'm so glad that I was in that pageant, that whatever I am today, I give a lot of credit to being in the pageant. I think the things that pageant teaches you, nothing else can teach you. Okay, let's talk about Sushmita. So Sushmita, you have seen her talk. This is how she talks in real life too. The pageant happened in Goa. We all flew to Goa, and that's the pageant. The pre-contest things were for 3 days, and the first competition was Miss Beautiful Hair. That was the title. And this is like the first one out of the all, 4 or 5 titles and then the final pageant. So that evening, when the results came and my name was announced, this was the first competition ever. For me, it was like, oh my God. And then they announced my name. They're like, Kimi for Femina Miss India, Miss Beautiful Hair. And I was like, oh my God. I was just like a kid in a candy store. I didn't even know what's going on, but I was super excited. And Sushmita was the one who came forward and congratulated me. She's like, congratulations, Kimi. Everybody, all the girls. It's such a nice sisterhood in the pageant that they all came and they were like, oh my God, she got the hair. It was such a big deal. So for me, that title has meant a lot forever, like even till today. So thank you for all the compliments I get for my hair, right? So it reminds me of the first time I won that title. So the pageant happened. Sushmita Sen won Miss India, and Aishwarya won the first runner-up. And after that, few months down the line, I met Sushmita in Jet Airways flight. We were flying to Bombay, I don't know from which city, but when I entered the plane, Sushmita was already sitting and she had won the Miss Universe title. That was the first ever title that India got, like Miss Universe. The first ever Indian girl to win that was Sushmita Sen. So she had already won that and she was like a huge celebrity. And she was sitting on seat number 3A. And my seat was 3C, so right next to her. She was already sitting, and when I entered the plane, and she was like, Kimi, like, it's like because we were in the pageant together, so she was so kind and humble, and then we were together, we kept chatting throughout the flight. She told me a bunch of things about the Miss Universe pageant, and yes, she talks exactly now how you all hear her talk. She is so graceful, so humble, so poised. It's amazing. So I just want you to know that Sushmita is like a class apart. And as you've heard her thoughts, the things that she says and the way she says them, amazing, right? And that's how she really is. And we love her. So talking about the next girl, which is Aishwarya. She is no doubt as Sushmita says, right? She is the example of the pin-up beauty. She is really flawless. I have seen her, and and funny thing is that in the pageant, in Miss India pageant, so we all got the rooms in Goa, and 3 girls were sharing the room, and Aishwarya, and there was another girl with us. I'm sorry, I don't remember her name, but Aishwarya and I were in the same room. And Aishwarya is the one who helped me with makeup. I didn't know makeup, so she's the one who gave me like a small sachet of like a foundation. And she said, oh, you have nice flawless skin, you should just put this on and that's it, you're good to go. So it's just, like we had nice interactions at the time. And oh my God, she is so pretty. She's so beautiful. Her skin is absolutely flawless. So the pageant happened, she got the first runner-up. This was all in Goa. And then eventually we were all back in Bombay. And now a few months down the line, she won the Miss World. Yay! Like amazing, right? She got that beautiful crown. She was the Miss World. That was the first time India ever got the Miss World crown. So Aishwarya. And then we were shooting in Filmistan studios. I used to do a lot of modeling, a lot of like commercials, TV commercials. I was shooting for, I don't know what it was, maybe Bonvita or something, I don't know. But I was shooting for that. And Filmistan is like a big studio which has many shooting stages inside that. So Aishwarya was there shooting for some television ad, which was like a flat screen TV. At that time it had started. And so she was shooting there, and perhaps somebody told her, and I got the knock on my door on our studio thing, in my makeup. And then that was Aishwarya. She said, Kimi, yay! I was, because we were in the pageant, she remembered. And it was really very touching for me to think that. And now when I think about it, it still gives me the same feelings. I'm like, so then, we were talking, and then our shots were ready. She went and I went. But it was really nice that all these girls from the pageant are very kind, wonderful, wonderful women, and they talk a lot of sense. That all you have heard. So just so you remember that no, pageant is not just about gowns, makeup and heels. It's way more than that. And another girl, the pageant girl, which is like iconic at this time and has always been, is Priyanka Chopra. No, I have never met her, but I have seen her. I think in one of the parties in LA, there's a restaurant called Bazaar, which is in the hotel in Beverly Hills. So I was there and she was there. She is amazing. Of course, she is a huge star. And I've never met her, like not spoken to her, but everything she talks, everything she says is something that I think every person, every woman needs to hold close to her heart, because every time she opens her mouth, she gives you pearls of wisdom. Get them together. So talking about these three women that I just mentioned, you all have seen, they all were criticized for their personal choices, for the things they did or the things that they did not do. They were criticized, but see how they handled it. None of them handled it with noise. They handled it with so much poise. Even if it was Aishwarya being criticized personally for stuff, and then Sushmita being criticized for her things, her decisions, and Priyanka Chopra criticized for her decisions. They all have gone through a lot of criticism. So I think something that all of you can learn from, when you're being criticized, it's never truthful or never worth it to start creating noise. You should always treat others with poise, because confidence is not loud. Confidence is solid. That's what pageant teaches you actually. We get a lot of training. We hear from a lot of great women, great people, and just pageant trains you in a way that you learn about all those things and you keep them in your backpack. You just get it all together. And it comes handy in your life, in every aspect of life. If you've had a pageant training, if you've gone through it and you've learned from all these other women, it really helps with every step in your life. So pageants, if somebody tells you pageants is about just fake and this and that, oh no. Now you can really tell them, no, this is what these pageant women really are. And I love all of them, and so do you. And hats off to Sushmita, hats off to Aishwarya, hats off to Priyanka Chopra. We love you guys.